Welcome to Sober Talk. I'm Dennis and I have lived experience of alcohol. If you or anyone you know is struggling with alcohol, please call Alcoholics Anonymous on 1300 222222 or check out their website on aa.org.au. I'll just run through the preamble of Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other. They must solve their common problems and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses or opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety.
We've got Adrian with us, and Paula and Sharon, my sister. My sister Sharon's got nearly 3 years up. And just in the emergency cells.
My name's Adrian, I'm an alcoholic. 3 years sober, member of Centre for Serenity Thursday.
Thank you, Adrian.
And my name's Paula, I'm an alcoholic. Sobriety date, the 28th of July, 2018. My home group is Henley Beach 12 Promises and Sunday Night Exeter.
Thank you, Paula.
Hi, my name's Sharon, I'm an alcoholic. I've got nearly 3 years up in sobriety, and my home group is Port Adelaide.
Thank you, Sharon. Adrian will read out the how it works, preliminary little bit of chapter as we do at a normal meeting of AA. Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, portion of chapter 5, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail and do thoroughly find out. But if you're recovery, people who cannot pull the completely give themselves to this stupid program. You no matter what, who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. The chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders. But many of them do recover, if they have the capacity to be honest. Our story discloses in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you've decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any lengths to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. And some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result is nil until we let go, absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, battling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. After me, the avail is nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery.
1, we will house over alcohol that our life had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives under the care of God as understood. Could you say the rest of them, please? It's a shared
4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, introduced God to ourselves and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and where we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us, and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, what an order, I can't go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. C, that God could and would if he were sought.
Well, thank you, Adrian. That was well done.
My name's Adrian and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Adrian.
I say I'm an alcoholic because it's part of the solution to my drinking problem is admitting that I've got a problem. Yeah. Well, I drank for 25 years. It seemed to me that at the start that it was a wonderful way to escape. I found people in situations difficult and anxiety inducing. And when I drank, all the fear went away. And I thought, oh, here's the real me at last. This suave guy. Which, it wasn't true. Well, by the end, it was crashed cars and constant pain and a feeling of dread and impending doom that wouldn't go away. Yeah. I got sober in 2020, just before COVID hit. But my first AA meeting was a couple of years before that. I admitted to my pain specialist how much I was drinking on top of the methadone he was prescribing me for chronic pain. And he got me to drop out quick smart. And I went to an AA meeting there, and I had to admit I had a problem. I mean, I was a wreck. I've gotten to the stage where I was always very disappointed to wake up in the morning. And so it has to drive me out. And I went to a couple of other meetings after that. And I did admit I was an alcoholic, but that wasn't enough. I did identify with what I was hearing in those meetings. I was carrying such a weight of despair and cynicism and bitterness and just, really bad attitude that I just couldn't be bothered to continue to come to meetings and see if it would actually work.
Oh, there, Adrian.
Excuse me.
No, I.
So I continued to drink for another 2 years until I was about to be thrown out of my out of the place I was living. And then the last few people in the world who still cared about me, because I isolated myself, but I'd made enemies of friends. Well, they took me in and they made sure I got to meetings every day. And because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and because I was there day in, day out, it eventually dawned on me that that what everybody in the AA had, I could have too. And what I found was people who were able to not drink and be happy about it. And when it was suggested to me by a friend a couple of years before I got sober that I should not drink since I've admitted I'm an alcoholic, I just looked at him like he suggested I take a sword and cut off my hand, and then on my other hand somehow with my hand hold the sword even. It's just cruel and horrible and ridiculous and stupid and wrong and broken. I couldn't, That really was what it seemed like. The idea of not drinking, like it was just impossible. I couldn't do anything without a drink. But when I was really smashed and limping about on a walking stick, and when I was being brought to meetings daily, as I was saying, I found people who had something that I wanted. I was able eventually to admit to myself that I wanted, and and they gave me a glimmer of hope that I could get it. What they had was they were comfortable in their own skin. They didn't need anything to be okay, to cope, to flourish. They didn't need any outside substance. They didn't even seem to need anybody else's approval. I mean, the people I met in AA are very inspiring. So, and when it was suggested that I do something about AA's program, I went, okay, I can take suggestions. And I did. I found someone who particularly had what I wanted and that I could relate to. And this dude used to just radiate calm. And I was, at that point, the opposite. And, I asked him if he'd be my sponsor. And he said, can you pray? And I went, doesn't matter if I don't know what to, because I'd been a hardcore atheist, militant, very going on Christian chat rooms on the internet. And he said, no, it doesn't matter if you don't know what to. Can you pray? And I went, and we were off. And it was just about then that COVID hit. And there were meetings all of a sudden. So, I mean, I needed something because, in my head, I could never cope with it. I had to drink to put off all my feelings until the drink wore off, and then I'd drink again to put them off further. I couldn't stand being me. So without a drink, I needed something. And there's some kind of magic that goes on in AA meetings. My head just calms down. I mean, even if I'm bored or annoyed or think the speaker is full of it, it still works. It's just amazing in itself. Yeah. But my sponsor, he took me down the beach and we sat and looked at the ocean and talked about philosophy and spirituality, and I was quite skeptical. It took him a few weeks to talk me around to a point where I could actually start putting the steps into my life. But between the fact that I wanted what I had, and what he had rather, and something he pointed out, that my own way of looking at the world and thinking of things had got me to a pretty bad place, and I might need to try something else. He said, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. And I think he was right. And so, I mean, it sounds weird to me still saying out loud, and these days I do it on a daily basis, twice a day. But I got down on my knees and handed myself over to God. And that's, I mean, in this day and age, in this post-Christian society, that's a very weird thing to do, really. But, and at the time it felt kind of like throwing myself out of an aeroplane, not knowing if I had a parachute. But, it turns out that God can do for me what I can't do for myself. because I've gone without a drink for over 3 years. And I'm happy about it for a start. I'm just in a much better place than I could have imagined before. Because, that's what AA seems to do. It takes people like me who are broken and helpless and couldn't stop drinking, and turns them back into, turns them not back, but turns them into brand new, flourishing humans. So, what happened after that was my sponsor and I went through the nightmare, the horror movie that used to play in my head all the time. All the stuff from the past that used to just come up and smack me in the face all the time. The fears that I draw out of the future, and all the hatreds and resentments and terrible things that had happened and that I'd done. And went through them all and had a clear idea of them in this new perspective. That a spiritual approach to things gives. And it was difficult and painful, but afterwards I felt like a new man. My stress levels went down. I was no longer choking on my own cortisol and adrenaline like I used to every day. And because of that, my pain levels went down. I was able to go and get some physio and get my leg back. My leg that I ruined in a drunken car crash back in 2010. Yeah. So, like I say, I'm in a better position than I could have ever imagined. And what it's like now is everything is grist to this spiritual mill. Everything is part of this journey of recovery, of learning and growing and becoming a better, more useful Adrian. And I get to live. I get to do cool things I'd never done while I was too busy hiding from the world and drinking and going out and making a nuisance of myself, and then waking up and gagging in my own shame and going back to hiding and drinking again. Yeah, these days I get to go out and meet people and do things and go and see the pro wrestling. I even climbed up a smallish mountain at Peter Pound and travel all over the place and not be held back, at least not completely held back by my own fears all the time. Still got progress to make there. Considering to start with, I was practically unable to leave the house without a drink. I've come quite a ways. And this method for dealing with the things that come up that make me angry. There's a certain amount of sitting with these feelings, and then there's a process of writing them out in a kind of inventory of who did what, what happened, how it affected me, and what part I played in that, and seeing where I'm putting my own priorities, my own emphasis, and in this process of self-reflection and prayer and meditation. My God isn't religious, by the way. It's purely a personal, individual thing, as it is with a lot of AA members. But, in this process, I find such peace. I used to have to take drugs to feel this peaceful, and I get to, just do normal things and be relaxed about it and enjoy life. And so, yeah, with a bit of service and hanging out with fellow um, recovering alcoholics, I find that I'm very thankfully able to not pick up a drink one day at a time.
We have local meetings for the full week in the local area. Monday is Gala meeting at 8 o'clock. Tuesday is Elizabeth East at 8 o'clock. Wednesday is Elizabeth East at 8 o'clock. Thursday is Two Wells at 8 o'clock. And Friday is Salisbury at 8 o'clock. There's a meeting at Daveron Park at 12 o'clock. And on Sunday there's a meeting in Salisbury at 7 o'clock. And many other meetings in the area. For details of your local meetings, please phone 1300 22 2222. And once again, if anyone you know is struggling with alcohol issues, please call Alcoholics Anonymous on 1300 22 2222. The website is aaSouthAustralia.org.au.